Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kenroy here. Now today I'm bringing you a video showing you those seeds that I had from a previous video that we bought from Lidl. Today I'm going to be just sowing them, and within a couple of weeks we'll be able to have lush green shoots popping through, ready to go into the soil and hopefully give us a bountiful harvest this year. Now if you're new to the channel guys, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you love gardening content plus DIY projects. Thank you for all your support, and if you can, like and share this video perhaps to somebody who's thinking about growing some vegetables in their garden, would really appreciate it. So the first thing I'm going to sow are these beetroot, which is the golden eye ones. Yeah, never grown these before, so it should be interesting. So that's what they look like in the pack. Like I said, these are really inexpensive in Lidl, so it's a good place to go for seeds if you're looking to get some. Not sure what the quality of them will be like, only time will tell, but I mean, I suppose you can't really go wrong. Now, the only downside to these seed packs from Lidl is the fact that they don't really give you much information on when to plant these. They just sort of give you a spacing. These packets could do with some more detail if I'm being completely honest, but I'll just sort of wing it, use my common sense, and hopefully I'll be able to have some success. So I'm going to sow around 3 per module, so let's see how we get on. So the beetroots are all done now, just need to cover these over, and in a little while, once I've finished everything, I'll give them a water. Now it's a good idea not to cram these down too much, because you want the seeds to be able to you know, germinate without having to be too compacted. So you literally just want to sprinkle some soil really nice and soft over them, and then once they get watered in, hopefully that will be that. Yeah, I'm just going to get these into these trays and I'll be done. Yeah, cucumbers. So these are what the cucumber ones look like. Again, they could do with some explanation of when to plant them, but
have you checked it out?
Nah, surely we can plant everything now. So I think what I'll do with these cucumbers, there's only around maybe 10 seeds in here, so I'll just sow them in one of these pots, and then as they get a bit bigger I'll try and sort of take them apart, and maybe I'll have to give some away, but I'll just sow them all together rather than just you know, using 1 or 2 per pot, as I'm quite limited with the trays that I've got left. So I've literally just spread these out in a sort of smallish container. I'm going to cover this with some soil now, and once they start growing I'll then be able to divide them and plant them where I want to plant them. But it makes more sense rather than just putting a 1 or 2 in here. So some of these may not germinate, which is always a good reason to plant more than you need. And then with the excess, you can always give them away to neighbors or friends or family. So it's currently the 13th of April, so by all intensive purposes, this is quite late to be sowing some of these vegetables. However, better late than never, I always say. So cucumbers done. I'm going to sow a few seeds of these herbs, the basil and the parsley, because like I said, we really love using these herbs in our day-to-day cooking. So it's about time we try to grow some ourselves. Okay, so what's really cool is that the basil and I think a few of the others, they got tiny little seeds, and what they've done, they've put them on these little seed cloth. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. It's like a little disc, and I think you simply lay that into a pot with some soil underneath and some soil on top, water it in, and then they'll start to sprout. That is really clever. This is just so cool. So you literally just sit the disc in on the soil, put some soil on top, water in, and you get yourself some basil. Up next we've got some parsley, which comes in tiny little seeds. This one doesn't come in a little seed disc, but I'm just going to sprinkle some of these in one of these slightly bigger pots, maybe a couple pots, and then when they start to germinate we might transplant them into a much bigger container. Now once they start to germinate, we'll then transplant them in a much bigger container, but it should be pretty straightforward to grow these. So up next we've got the Swiss chard, which is quite a leafy vegetable. We're going to be sowing it. It looks a lot like the beetroot actually, the seeds, so should be pretty straightforward. We did grow some of this last year, I believe. We grew the multicolored variety, which was absolutely brilliant. We loved it, so we're growing some more. This time this is just the green variety, it seems. So yeah, the seeds are quite large compared to some of the others, so this should be easy to grow. Up next we've got a variety of watermelon called Sugar Baby, which is quite funny. We all have a little giggle whenever we hear this one. So I'm going to sow a few seeds of this, your standard watermelon seeds, nothing to see here really. It might be too late to plant these, but it would be really cool if we could actually grow some watermelon, as the kids and Saf and I absolutely love watermelon. Because watermelon typically loves the heat, might try to keep the watermelon inside the greenhouse. I don't know how we'll do for space, but I'll probably do an experiment if they do germinate, with having some in the greenhouse as well as some outside. But yeah, only time will tell. Okay, so up next we've got some broccoli, which I've tried growing before with no success, as they all got eaten by white caterpillar. Those white butterflies absolutely demolished them before we could actually get some produce from these. So really looking forward to growing some broccoli, organically grown broccoli at home. So I'm going to sow a bunch of these seeds in the greenhouse, and then later on I'll probably try and plant some outside. But I'll also try to do some in the greenhouse to see how it goes. It's going to be a lot of experiment, a lot of trial and a lot of error on my part, no doubt. But nonetheless, you've got to be in it to win it. So I'm going to sow some of these broccoli seeds. They look like tiny little ball bearings, absolutely tiny. So I'm going to sow a bunch of them in a few of these pots before repotting them later on. Now I'm going to hold off with sowing the carrots because I want to sow them in another bit of container. What I'm going to try and do, which is something I've seen done online, is to sow them in a piece of guttering pipe, where you fill it with soil, sow the carrot seeds in, and once they start to germinate, you simply just lay it out into your raised bed and just, you know, sort of cover it over, and hopefully we'll be able to get some carrots that way. So I won't sow those today. I may do that in a day or two when I've got that all set up. But for now guys, I've done it. I've sowed all the seeds that we bought from Lidl. Wish me luck. I hope that as many of them as possible will germinate, start growing, so we can then start planting them on. Okay guys, I'm going to leave this video here today. Like I said, I'm going to try my best to keep giving you regular update week by week of our greenhouse project and how we'll be getting on in the garden, especially as things are starting to heat up. Now do post in the comments down below guys, what do you think about all these seeds that we've sown? What are you growing in your garden? Perhaps you can give me some tips. Again, I'm always looking forward to learning new things. So far we've really been loving this new greenhouse. It's been a labor of love, and it's now well worth it, because on cooler days like this we can be in a nice warm greenhouse, you know, sowing our seeds, getting our plants ready to plant out as it gets warmer, as well as growing stuff here in the greenhouse. I'm really looking forward to this. As always guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that little notification bell, and like this video. The more you like it, the more you'll be able to inspire other people who like similar content, and of course that's what we're all about here on our channel. As always, this is Kenroy saying I'll see you when you see me. Take care. Happy gardening.